Like if you can, and
Mhm.
and this is something that it's really my favorite mantra, like when you can really embrace that you're perfectly made for your purpose, you realize that exactly as you are, with all your quirks, with all your imperfections, with exactly who you are, like people will love you for that. Your people.
Welcome to Go Get Great, the podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs and ambitious small business owners. I'm your host, Brittany, owner of Brittany Miller Socials and mother of three. Go Get Great is all about helping you make life and business work together. You'll learn about the fumbles that helped get me and my guests to where we are today so you don't have to make them. So come join the journey with Go Get Great. Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Go Get Great podcast. I am so excited this morning to be joined by guest Petia. Petia is an innovative business mentor for female entrepreneurs. She focuses on guiding women to intuitively connect with their inner vision so they can experience personal and professional magnetism and become unapologetically abundant. Her mission is to empower visionaries who are on the path to embody their fullest self-expression to soulfully expand into a quantum leap in all dimensions of their life. Petia gives immense clarity and exact steps to unlock women's divine feminine and abundance mindsets. Through subconscious work as a certified breathwork facilitator, Reiki, NLP, and human design practitioner, she leads her clients to their next level in life and business. And I am really excited for our conversation this morning because we share some realities of what it's like being a business owner and a mom. And we also dive into some strategies on how you can more embrace your feminine or your masculine energy to help you get better results in business. So without further ado, let's dive in. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Go Get Great podcast. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic, and you're like the happy start of my day, so I'm really
Yay!
excited.
Me too. Well, before we dive into today's topic, I thought we would talk about feminine energy and how you can use it to thrive in life and business. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? And I know I'm curious about your wonderful accent. Where are you from?
I love that question. And, thank you so much for saying wonderful accent because honestly, like when I moved from a very small town, from very small country, Czech Republic,
Mm.
into United States, I had like a major imposter syndrome because
Oh.
I was really feeling like, who would listen to me? Nobody can understand me. And even like when I move in here, like my accent, it's strong now, but it was worse 14 years ago. Imagine that because I'm
Mm.
here already 14 years. And I
Mhm.
remember when I used to go even like to the restaurants with my family and I would just ask for water and people would be like, "What?" I'm like, I say it like freaking
Aw.
5 times. And you know like how frustrating it is that
Mhm.
you know the word, you know how to ask for it and people like don't understand. And
Mhm.
my family members, they're like, "Yeah, she wants water." I'm like, "That's exactly what I just said. Like, what's wrong with you people?" And then
Mhm.
I even had like few people when I was like starting my business, I would do like a lot of networking and stuff like that. And people would like try to help me, quote unquote. And they're like, "Hey, did you see that you have a type on your website? If you're not professional, people won't take you seriously." Like, and it's like even when I posted on Instagram, I'm such a quote lover. I used to post quote all the time, just like inspiring, motivational. And
Mhm.
people will tell me like, "Your grammar sucks. Like this doesn't make sense." Like I was like
Oh
so
no.
like hard on myself already. And then when
Mhm.
people tell you this, major imposter syndrome, major perfectionist, like trying to people please, it was challenging. So I know it's like answering like very broad, but I
Mhm.
also want people to understand like who I am and where I am today. Like
Mhm.
it took a lot of inner work. It wasn't just like I even like got my degrees, to feel more like professional. Like I have my bachelor's in marketing and I have
Mhm.
MBA and then I have tons of certifications, like the energetic part, like Reiki and human design and NLP and like Kundalini activation process and just a lot of things that I was curious about. But I also know that it stemmed from me feeling not being special and not being good enough.
Mm.
So this girl from very small town with unpronounceable name,
Mhm.
nobody can pronounce it. it's just like if I could turn my life around and embrace my gifts and create a fulfilling life, anyone can do that. Like now, when I say I'm not special, I don't mean it from a place like I'm not good enough. I'm saying it like we all come here with our innate gifts,
Mm,
and we just get to learn to release the limiting beliefs that, let's be honest, Brittany, most of the times they're not even ours. Like
mm-hmm,
sometimes when I have these negative thoughts, I'm like, huh, where did I get that? Where did I
mm,
learn that? Where did I hear that? Because very often, like, think about your beautiful babies, right? And your kids, like, they are not hard on themselves. They're not saying, like, oh, like, I am silly because I poop in my diaper, or I'm not good enough because I'm burping at the table. Like,
mm-hmm,
no, their
mm-hmm,
fullest expression of joy and whatever feelings are going through right now, because they're not
mm-hmm,
just all butterfly and rainbows, let's be honest.
mm-hmm,
They're like developing their personality and adjusting to this world, but they're
mm-hmm,
not hard on themselves. They start to be when we are,
mm-hmm. Hmm.
or
It's so
people
true. It was like my year and a half year old couldn't care less. Actually, my 3 year old's really good too. She is like her own human and she knows it, but my almost 5 year old, she'll be 5 later this month. She's a perfectionist at age 5 and she is just so hard on herself. And I was like, I don't understand where you're getting this from. So, actually, one of the things I've been working on lately is trying to help figure out how I can help her work through that because I don't want her to be a perfectionist like me because it is so challenging because you take everything everyone says to you so personally.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, the perfectionism, like when my clients come to me and they're like, well, I'm afraid to launch this or I'm afraid to say this. And, you can feel the underlying perfectionism. I'm like, but compared to who? Compared to what? Whatever it's perfect for you might not be perfect for me and other way around. And like
Hmm.
comparing to what and whose standards? Like if you can, and
Hmm.
and this is something that it's really my favorite mantra, like when you can really embrace that you're perfectly made for your purpose, you realize that exactly as you are, with all your quirks, with all your imperfections, with exactly who you are, like people will love you for that. Your people. And the
Hmm.
people who are not your people, it doesn't matter. You can be like doing headstands, and have a baby in each hands, and they will still criticize you. So
Hmm.
your people will never get it. But the more of you are, the easier it's going to be for you to live, to love, to create, overflow for your life and family and business,
Hmm.
because you start embracing your uniqueness. And when I'm saying this, I'm a work in progress. We all are. Like
Absolutely.
just this rising, like I was sitting alone and I was working through some emotions coming up, like, and thoughts. I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, I worked on this million and one times, and so we all have those moments when we get to like go through it again and go deeper and work through it and just seeing like, would I want more of this in my life?
Mm.
Really? And also, like when you become mother, you ask yourself, would I want my kids to feel like this?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a triggering one.
Oh, it is. Trust me, because sometimes like I get frustrated, or sometimes I just still like I know better and I still overwhelm myself. And then my body just shuts me down. I'm like, would I want my daughter to feel like this? Would I want her to see herself like this? Would I want her to think like this?
Hmm.
Because if not, and listen, even if you're listening right now and you're not mother, like, would you want the person who you love the most to feel like this? Whether it's your mother or friend or your partner or your dog, I don't care. If you don't like people and you just love animals, I get
Hmm.
it. Would you want them to feel like that? If not, what do you desire instead?
Hmm. It's a really good way to think about it. I was actually just recording with someone else before this too, and we were talking about how as humans we're just like pre-programmed, not pre-programmed, we're societally programmed to like go, go, go and be in the season of perpetual harvest. We don't give ourselves the time or the opportunity to stop and reflect and ask these questions to find the insight to work through these things, even though that's truthfully what we need more of. It's like a thing that you have to learn and do yourself, and really make the time and the space for that.
Mhm. And I feel like it is so crucial, to do that and to create a space. And like you said, like we are literally just programmed, but this is the patriarchy, this is the masculine, just go, 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 go. And,
Hmm.
like doing just things. But that's what we also wanted to talk about. It's the feminine. The feminine, it's not strategic. The feminine, it's not structural. The feminine, it's free flowing. It's chaotic. It's just like all over. It's everywhere. And she gives herself the space to receive. She gives her space to feel like the queen. And this is something that I actually just like realized just very recently. The way we treat ourselves in the rising, it's how the world will treat us. So when you wake up and treat yourself like the queen, you will be treated and paid like the queen. If you wake up and treat yourself like the slave, you will be treated and paid like the slave, right? Like when you wake up and it's like go, go, go and do, do, do and grab your phone and look at your emails. And
Mm-hmm.
listen, I'm also sometimes guilty of that when I know that I have international clients because they're in Asia or they're in New Zealand and there's
Hmm.
different time zones, and I know I have like an hour or two windows to like respond to them, so it's not the next day for them,
Yep.
so sometimes I am guilty of that too. And I also am like, hey Pet, yeah, let's take 15 minutes, let's take
Hmm.
30 minutes. When I do that, my complete day shifts, and we get to create those spaces because, and you see it in your family, like your kids are not going to do what you tell them to do. They will do like you're doing.
It is so true. It's unfortunate, but true.
Unfortunately, yes. I'm like, unfortunately, but yeah. But you know what? Like becoming mother made me even more unapologetic. Becoming mother made me even more clear. And listen, the first few months were like literally in a fog. Like I just like that was just like, I don't care about the world. I don't care about anything.
Hmm.
There was a fog, but then like I became so much more clear about who I am and how I want to do things and how I want to serve. And I feel like my heart just broadened, like my heart just grew. And there is even deeper desire to support women who are not in a place to invest in a mentorship one-on-one. And I don't know if you saw it, but I hosted actually scholarship giveaway where I was giving away $22,000, for
Wow.
6 months one-on-one work with me. And
Mhm.
I was going through over 50 applicants, and it
Wow.
was the hardest thing ever because I'm like, after you read their lives and their desires, and you're like, oh my God, I can help this person. I know I can. And
Hmm.
I cannot work with like 30 women. I'm like,
Hmm.
that's just not what I stand for, right? Like, then
Hmm.
I'm taken away from my family.
Yeah.
But I was like, it really brought me even deeper into the attention. Like, I want to create something that I can help more women. I want to create these scholarships and I want to create a foundation for women who are in a business and especially mothers. Like, I don't want mothers to feel like I have to go back to work.
Hmm.
Like, that's terrible feeling. Like, I was at home doing, I don't want to say nothing because when you become mother, you're doing everything and you're doing it 24/7.
Yep.
But I was doing it like in my home. I wasn't like selling and launching, doing anything,
Hmm.
until she was almost 9 months.
Hmm.
And I did kept my recurring clients, but I was messaging with them in a Voxer when my baby was asleep or when I was
Hmm.
sitting in a backyard. So, like, when I hear that women have to sometimes go back to work in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, I'm like, I was not a human. Like,
Hmm.
how can you even do that? How can society do that here,
Hmm.
right? So, I feel like it ignited even more of that fierce feminine in me,
Hmm.
like seeing even more clearly what to fight for, what to show up for, how to make a difference. And yes, I do still have, like premium high paying clients who are one-on-one and who are deep in long-term mentorship with me.
Yeah.
And I'm also creating spaces for women to come and feel safe and seen and like really tap into the possibilities of receiving with more ease and creating with more ease. It's just it is possible for what for all of us. So, like I'm creating 6 months group coaching mentorship that we are launching in October
Hmm.
because I truly believe that we can create soulful success when we're not hustling, when we're not working hard, when we can just come and just know ourselves on such a depth that we become unshakable about
Mhm.
how to show up, about how to share, about how to sell. And we're doing it from a place of knowing instead of from place of doubting, hustling, and copying everybody else.
It's so true. And, if I sit down and I have a day where I'm like, you know what, I've got, 2 hours and I have like 12 hours worth of stuff to do, and I push even though I'm not feeling it, it never works. I end up still working those 12 hours just later because I'm forcing it when it's not there. But when I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to take time. I need to reset. I need to focus. I come back later and those 12 hours magically all got done in like three because you're not doing it from a place of fear and burnout and frustration. You're doing it from your best place, your highest, most creative, most feminine self, where you feel grounded and everything is aligned and it feels easier.
I love that. Yeah. And I was being shown this like over and over and over again, when I try to push and force things. And when I just trust that, and I share this with you like right at the beginning, right? Like I'm in a space that I'm like, I feel like I want to be moving, and I get to be in a space that I get to slow down and reflect and just like reassess like where I am and how I want to do things and what I want to create, and create more spaciousness and create more fun and allow the universe or God source, whatever our listeners believe, like to show me. Like we get to create the spaces when we are receptive, and that's the feminine energy. And I feel like sometimes also like there is this big movement of like feminine leadership and feminine, energetics, blah, blah, blah. And it's beautiful that so many like women are awakening. And of course, we all men and female, we have like feminine and masculine energy. But I feel like we have to stop putting down the masculine energy and glorifying feminine. Like we all have both. You just get to learn when to go and when to flow. You get to learn when is the time to go and play and chase your kids, and when is the time like, ooh, I'm inspired, let's sit in front of computer and let's write a caption. Like I was so mad at myself, but I had to do it. So my husband, like we co-sleep with our daughter, and he stays with her because magically she sleeps with him like 4 hours straight, and he gives her pump bottle and she keeps sleeping when she's with me. She's up every hour and she
Oh
chews on
no.
my boob like 30 minutes, and then she falls asleep, and in another 30 minutes she wants to boob again. So I'm like, I am exhausted. She's exhausted. So thank God that like this works for our family. And I'm there when she's falling asleep, and I'm there when she's waking up, and then I'm with her, like all day. But this works. But for me, it's just like I had to create these spaces. I had to like create what is working for me. And I had to allow myself to like be where I am and be in a season that I am. And we have to allow ourselves this. We have to allow ourselves to see, like, hey, what season am I in? And I just hosted like free 3 day event called Attract, How to Be Attracting and Stop Chasing. And the first day, what I was teaching is the season. It's recognizing what season you're in and stop pushing and start creating the spaces for you to receive and bring in, and allow yourself to like be present. It's so easy to get going and get busy. But as I was like,
Mhm.
saying I was mad at myself because it's like 3 o'clock and I wake up and I'm pumping because like even though I'm without my daughter, I'm still pumping before I go to sleep, during the night, after I feed her in the morning. Like I'm still like, like working. And so I'm pumping at 3 a.m. in the morning. And when I finish pumping, instead of like laying down and going to sleep, I get an idea about caption, and I just have to get it out of my head because it will never be there. And, in the morning, like, I'll remember, this is too good.
Yep. And
Never.
you never remember.
I never remember. So it's like 4 a.m. and I'm freaking writing caption, but it's because I'm inspired to do that. right? So we get on this like river of inspiration, whether it's when we are feeding our babies, whether it's when we're on a walk, whether it's when we're staying in a shower. I have to have a shower notes now because that's where I get my, like best ideas. Because before I like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
so good. And I'm running away from shower, almost killing myself. Everything is slippery. I was like, nope, not doing that anymore. So I'm writing my ideas, but
Hmm.
following that inspiration, like I know I mentioned human design and there are 5 different designs, but doesn't matter what design you are, you get to follow your curiosity. You get to follow where is your body moving you. It's not your mind, it's your body moving you to the next steps, to the next inspiration. I truly believe that life, it's always leaving breadcrumbs. And when we start trying to like do it all and know it all and be it all, we actually allow space to receive.
Okay. So for the people that are listening that says, "Oh my goodness, this sounds amazing. I want this freedom, this creativity to be able to feel this flow," but they're stuck in this more masculine energy. Can you briefly explain like what masculine energy would feel like and how you can get more in touch with your feminine energy?
I love that. And this is a brilliant question. And there is a masculine energy and there is a wounded masculine energy. So when you're in your masculine energy, it almost feels like centered, focus, one way, stoic. It feels powerful. You feel protected. You feel provided. So masculine energy in itself is the
Mm-hmm.
provider. It's the protector. It's the one who is going to hold the space for the feminine,
Oh,
right?
okay.
That is the healthy one. But if you're hustling and chasing and proving and like feeling never enough, that's a wounded masculine
Mm,
trying to protect, trying to provide, trying to do it all. But it's not the powerful, like, imagine like beautiful, stoic energy that is centered and can hold the space. So that is the right masculine. And then the feminine energy, she is playful, she's receptive, she's powerful, she's fierce, she's chaotic. She needs a space where she can be. The masculine provides the space for her to be, I see it
okay.
like an ocean. It's just like a very powerful ocean. Sometimes she is calm, but sometimes she creates tsunami. Like, come on, you know the
Yep.
feeling when we are the tsunami in our families and in our
Mm-hmm.
business. It's like, get out of my way, right? So the feminine energy, like, she is sensual, she is powerful, she is godly, she is, she's a life giver, she's a nurturer, and she can be also like very strong and fierce and take life. That's the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
She is, guiding it all. So what helped me really to balance the masculine and feminine energy, and you get to be really honest with yourself, because most clients, they come to me and they're more in that masculine energy,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to rebalance it with the feminine to be more receptive, to be more nurturing, to be more sensual, to
Mm-hmm.
deepen her relationship with herself and others. Because when you deepen the relationship with yourself, you deepen the relationship with your partner, with your clients, with, the
Mm-hmm.
possibilities. So that is possibility. But some of my clients, they're like, I'm too much in my feminine. Like,
Oh.
don't plan anything. I don't structure anything. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
follow plan. I show up how I want to show up. I don't post consistently. I have an email list and I don't do anything about it. And sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
get inspired and I send a sell email like once a year. So, you get to be really honest with yourself. Where are you in the spectrum? Is it too much masculine? Is it too much feminine? And then start your day with that. So let's say, for example, a lot of clients, a lot of women who come to me, they're more in their masculine energy. So
Mm-hmm.
we get to introduce the feminine energy first. So feminine energy, it's more reconnecting with the earth, reconnecting with your like sensuality, senses, using
Mm-hmm.
essential oils, taking shower, being around the elements like water or wind or like fire. But please don't burn your house. I just put a candle on, or incense. Like bringing in the elements into your rising, and you can do it as easily as like taking a shower. And when my baby was a newborn, I just took a shower with her because she's always on me, right? So I put a candle on and I open up the window so there is a fresh air and I reconnect with the ground, like I go barefoot in our backyard. Like, please don't do it if it's like freezing outside, but like find the nature, find the elements, reconnect with that feminine, like open yourself up to receive and do it if you can, like slowly. And listen, when I had a baby, like my slow risings were not anymore 2 hours for me. They were 5 minutes. I connected to my heart. I connected to my breath. I connected with my body. That's the feminine, inviting her in, opening her up to receive. And I just ask myself, like, what am I excited for today? What is the one thing I will do for myself today? What am I really grateful for? Like those three things, when I ask myself in the morning, I am opening up to receive, to receptivity instead of go, 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 go. So that would be something that I would do to step into the feminine energy. And then the masculine, if you're too much in your feminine and you gotta be in your masculine, well, maybe start your day with more like masculine energy. Maybe you're doing horse stance, which is just like standing with your like spread feet, like, like horse stance. And you can ask Uncle Google or YouTube. Maybe you just do a workout. Maybe you are thinking about like, how do I want to plan my day today? So you're inviting more of the masculine, like asking yourself, like, what is the one thing? If I do only that one thing, if I focus on this, it will make everything else easier. Like, get more into that masculine energy, who is provider, who is protector. How can you feel provided for yourself? And maybe it's just like waking up and having a breakfast and, like thinking about like, what are the three things that I want to accomplish today, and writing it down, just dumping it on the paper. So that's like looking at it, from both spectrums, really knowing when is the time to go and when is the time to flow. Because when you do this, everything else will become so much easier.
That was really helpful because I feel like, some people know, we are more of a masculine energy society, but they never talk about, well, what if we're too much in our feminine? And also, yeah, did you learn that too? I had never heard of wounded masculine. I think I spend a lot of time there. So now I have some more homework and things to do. So for anyone that's listening, how can they learn more? Because I know you have much more wisdom to share. How can they connect with you?
So I feel like my favorite way is Instagram, so it's just my name, Petia Kolibova. Or if we have any mamas listening, I created a new account called the Holistically Minded Mama. And I'm sharing there about my mompreneurship and how I do things now differently and about holistic lifestyle, So it's really fun for me. And my website, Petia Kolibova, and my podcast, Unapologetically Abundant. So those are my favorite ways to connect. And I'm showing up on Threads now too, which is just my name too. So those are the fun ways to connect with me.
Wonderful. And I will put all of those links in the show notes because your last name is a little hard for those of us to
I know.
pronounce that and spell. But thank you so much for joining us today. It was a really wonderful conversation.
I loved being here. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for showing up in the world. I love your work. Your questions were brilliant. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, we will be in touch soon. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Go Get Great podcast. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to Go Get Great. I hope you found some useful tips and tricks that can help you make life and business work together. If what I said resonates with you, please share it on social media and don't forget to tag at Brittany Miller's socials so that I can celebrate you for taking those first steps towards achieving greatness. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes dedication, hard work, and a lot of spirit. So don't be afraid to dream big and go after what you want. Keep striving for greatness. You get closer with every step forward, no matter how small they may seem. Until next time, go get great.